Is your teen's screen time fueling their anxiety? The uncomfortable truth. Hello friends, and welcome back to Mind Matters. This is the space where we dive deep into mental health topics that affect men, women, teens, and even children. Together, we look at the challenges people often face quietly, while exploring ways to build healthier and more balanced lives. Today, we're talking about something very close to teenagers. Is teens' screen time fueling their anxiety? The uncomfortable truth. Social media looks entertaining, but for many young people, it's also a hidden source of stress. Behind every scroll, like, or comment, silent pressures are shaping how teens think and feel daily. So, let's consider the ways social media is fueling anxiety in teens today. Social media rewires the teenage brain and daily habits in powerful ways. So let's dive into that. The digital rewire. How phones shape teen brains and everyday habits. Teens often reach for their phones without realizing it because constant notifications trigger excitement and reinforce dependency. This cycle makes downtime uncomfortable, with scrolling becoming the default instead of meaningful rest or real-world connection. Over time, these patterns weaken focus, increase restlessness, and push teens further into habits that undermine well-being. Fear of missing out, or FOMO, keeps many teens stuck in endless scrolling loops across multiple apps. Instead of feeling connected, they feel restless, distracted, and even isolated, despite being surrounded by real friends. The pressure to keep up steals peace of mind and makes healthy offline activities feel less rewarding. Eventually, phones start shaping identities, friendships, and even confidence, creating an unhealthy reliance on digital life. This is how this happens. Shrinking attention spans. Phones train young brains to expect rapid stimulation, making long focus on schoolwork or conversations extremely difficult. This short attention span causes frustration, lowers grades, and creates unnecessary anxiety about personal abilities and success. With time, teens lose patience for meaningful challenges, replacing growth with constant scrolling that weakens confidence and balance. Interrupted relationships. Notifications interrupt meals, conversations, and family time, pulling attention away from people who matter most. These constant disruptions make loved ones feel ignored or undervalued, creating emotional distance and misunderstandings in relationships. Over time, these interruptions weaken trust and connection, leaving teens feeling isolated and misunderstood. Lost hobbies and creativity. Excessive scrolling takes time away from hobbies like art, sports, or reading, which build joy and imagination. Without these outlets, stress increases, self-expression weakens, and opportunities for personal growth begin to disappear. Creativity suffers, leaving teens less resilient and more dependent on screens for emotional stimulation and identity. Next, let's explore how social media amplifies anxiety through comparison and pressure. The anxiety amplifier. How social media increases teen stress and comparison. Feeds often showcase picture-perfect lives that leave teens questioning their own worth. Instead of inspiring them, these images and stories create insecurity, sadness, and worry about being less than others. Over time, comparisons erode self-esteem and replace joy with heavy stress, deepening anxiety with every scroll. Many teens also feel pressure to create flawless online identities that don't match their real lives. This leads to constant stress from maintaining appearances, exhausting energy that could be used for authentic connection. Hiding struggles behind edited photos or captions makes it harder to share pain and seek support. That growing gap between reality and online identity leaves many teens feeling lonely and overwhelmed. This is how this happens. Followers as value. Many teens measure their value by likes and followers, believing numbers define their worth. When engagement drops, anxiety grows, damaging confidence and creating emotional pain that feels crushing and overwhelming. This cycle traps teens in constant dependency on digital approval, making happiness fragile and unstable. Online drama arguments online spread fast, exposing teens to criticism from large audiences that magnifies embarrassment. Hurtful comments increase stress, weaken trust, and can leave long-lasting scars on friendships and mental health. Drama online often feels impossible to escape, adding constant anxiety to everyday digital life. Hidden feelings teens often hide their struggles for fear of judgment, pretending to be fine when they're not. These hidden feelings worsen loneliness, creating deeper anxiety because emotions remain bottled up and unexpressed. Without support, teens feel isolated, exhausted, and unable to find relief from mounting stress. Let's now consider what social media does inside the brain. Brain chemistry under siege. The science of social media stress teen brains are still developing, especially the areas that control emotions and judgment. Constant scrolling disrupts these processes, making it harder to focus, remember, and manage emotions effectively. Over time, this imbalance increases stress, leaving teens less resilient and more vulnerable to everyday struggles. Chemicals like dopamine and serotonin also get disrupted, causing mood swings, irritability, and greater anxiety with heavy use. This imbalance leaves teens dependent on the highs and crushed by the lows of online interaction. Everyday challenges suddenly feel enormous because their brains struggle to regulate emotions healthily. This makes anxiety stronger, more frequent, and harder to overcome without active changes. This is how this happens. Impulse control issues. Social media teaches the brain to expect instant rewards, weakening the ability to resist distractions. This reduces focus during schoolwork, lowers productivity, and feeds cycles of dependency that increase stress. Over time, self-control fades, leaving teens vulnerable to frustration and anxiety. Sleep problems. Late night scrolling interrupts natural sleep, making the brain tired, unfocused, and easily stressed. Poor sleep lowers resilience, increases irritability, and weakens academic performance, fueling more anxiety. Without proper rest, teens struggle to feel stable and healthy emotionally. Addiction-like behavior. Excessive use mirrors addiction, with cravings, withdrawal, and irritability when teens disconnect. This deep dependency makes balance harder and anxiety worse. Recovery takes effort, awareness, and boundaries to restore stability. Next, let's look at algorithms and how they shape mental health. The algorithm's shadow. How feeds control teen mental health. Algorithms decide what teens see, keeping them hooked for hours. This creates dependence on curated feeds that reinforce insecurities and reduce time for real-life connections. Over time, this manipulation drains confidence, increases isolation, and strengthens anxiety. Filter bubbles amplify insecurities by repeatedly showing similar content, deepening doubt and self-criticism. Targeted ads also play a role, feeding insecurities with unrealistic standards that drive unnecessary spending and dissatisfaction. These invisible systems quietly shape how teens feel about themselves every single day. This is how this happens. Addictive content. Algorithms prioritize dramatic or extreme material that captures attention. This content increases scrolling, worsens anxiety, and encourages unhealthy comparisons. Teens often leave feeling drained, yet unable to stop scrolling. Time blindness. Scrolling makes time disappear, stealing hours from sleep, homework, and relationships. Teens feel guilty and overwhelmed afterwards. This cycle fuels stress and anxiety. Manipulative ads target insecurities, promoting unrealistic beauty or lifestyle standards. This deepens dissatisfaction and increases spending. The constant pressure damages confidence and fuels stress. Finally, let's consider how teens can find balance. Navigating the digital storm. Strategies for balance and teen mental wellness. Healthy boundaries, digital detoxes, and mindful scrolling reduce stress and reclaim time. These small steps make a big difference, restoring focus and confidence while creating space for real connections. With balance, teens learn that their worth is not tied to followers or likes. Instead, resilience grows stronger with each intentional choice. Real-world connections also protect mental health, building stability and joy beyond the digital world. Hobbies, family, and friendships bring fulfillment, creativity, and emotional safety that social media can never replace. These practices strengthen identity and remind teens of their unique value outside of online validation. Balance, not constant connection, becomes the path to long-term wellness. This is how this happens. Power of exercise. Exercise boosts mood and energy, helping teens handle stress with resilience. It creates stability, balance, and confidence. Teens who stay active often manage challenges with greater strength. Creative expression. Art, writing, and music provide outlets for emotions. These activities heal stress, reduce comparison, and build self-esteem. Creativity empowers teens to thrive. Support systems. Trusted adults, mentors, and friends provide safety and guidance. Open conversations normalize struggles and create hope. Support reminds teens they're never alone. In conclusion, social media connects teens, but it also fuels anxiety, stress, and insecurity behind the screen. From rewired brains to amplified comparison, the risks are serious. Yet with awareness, healthy habits, and real connections, balance is possible. Protecting mental health starts with small, intentional choices. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please comment, share your questions, and join the conversation. Don't forget to share this video with others who may benefit. And of course, subscribe to Mind Matters and stay tuned for our next video with more helpful mental health tips. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care of your mind and yourself.